The V8 Supercar Championship has been around for quite a while, but in many different configurations. But I grew up with what was before, which was just another touring car championships. It had things like the Nissan Skyline Godzilla, which is actually the series where it got its name from, Godzilla. But over the years, it has really quite morphed, and they generally stuck to the V8 5-litre configuration here being Mark Skaife, one of Australia's most prolific racers. But it may surprise you to know that even Volvo got in on this. And to go along with my Volvo kind of thing that I went with last week, I thought I would try to recreate something very similar to that again. And we're going to use this mod, which is a Polestar body mod. Though 3.1 meters long, it's a very long boy. Or maybe we'll go with the 2.6 meter long version. I think we'll go with the 2.6 meter, and we'll go with the 4-door version. Those are large overhangs. So this is going to be very, very much in the vein of V8 Supercars. And we're going to try to stick to the regulations as close as possible. One weird thing though is apparently there's no actual sticking to the 8-cylinder rule. And apparently you can be a 4 or 6-cylinder, but for some reason then it goes that does not exceed the supercar's accumulated power input and weight average. I don't know what that means. So everyone just uses a 5-litre engine. And this is Volvo's 5-litre engine. It's based on their Yamaha B844S. Give this thing a listen. And it runs on E85. Unfortunately, we only got up to 100 RON, and this should be about 105, I believe, RON. Oh, we have a compression ratio here, 10:1. At 7,500 RPM, maximum RPM. The weight here is about basically 1.4 tons, so we have to stay above that. Oh, they even govern the weight ratio, so we have to have 755 kilograms over the front axle. So I suppose that limits you to never being able to have a rear or mid-engine car. And it looks like it uses a tubular chassis, which you can see here, looks like a tubular chassis over a regular car body. So I don't know, maybe semi-space frame? Fiberglass, semi-space frame, get rid of the body and see what that looks like. Yeah, that looks close enough, whatever. Chassis material, aluminium, sure, why not? And then a front longitudinal, double wishbone, and double wishbone is the sort of suspension which I grew up knowing that they had. In fact, actually, they have Mustangs in the V8 Supercars now, so let's go with the 2-door version. There we go. Yeah, you know what? I think the 2-door version looks much better. It says here that we're meant to have our drag and downforce be identical, but there's no instructions here, so I'll just make it up as I go along, because this is not actually going to be part of the V8 Supercars race series. This is actually Friday Pike Day! Sorry on the late introduction for that. But yeah, we're going to keep going with this. Yeah, double wishbone setup front suspension and independent rear suspension on the rear, which is probably also a double wishbone. Oh, we have tire limitations. Good. Okay, so we can work with that. Let's go ahead and make this engine. So, new project engine. This is going to be the B844S. And this is going to be the V8 Supercar version. Sure. V8 Supercar. And here we know that it's a 60-degree V8, the bore and stroke of 94 and 79. Ooh, I get to make a racing 60-degree V8. Yeah! Except when I said that one, this is a 60-degree V8, which is very unusual. Yeah, that one was weird. But this one is Volvo. This one's a European engine, so yeah, they have a reason for doing it like that. The reason why they went in with a 60-degree and not a 90-degree V8 is because they wanted to fit it east-west or transversely in a engine bay that wasn't really meant for it, so they had to make it as narrow as possible. So that's why they went 60-degree. And I believe that they're the only 60-degree V8 to be in V8 Supercars ever. Anyway, it's an aluminium block, dual overhead cans, 4 valves per cylinder, more aluminium. Now, that makes us a 4.4 liter. Now, we're not going with all-wheel drive or 4x4 or front-wheel drive, just rear-wheel drive. But we now have to make this bigger, and it looks like we're already starting to hit problems with fitting into the engine bay. So, do we increase the bore or the stroke? So increasing the bore is really increasing that size there, unfortunately. And since we're limited on RPM anyway, I suppose we can go with a little bit of a longer stroke. Oh, exactamundo on 500 cc's. And it is really right at its limit too. Did I say anything here about like exactly how big the capacity of the engine is? Not by the looks of it. And even on the website for it, does not explain what it is that they increased to get the 5 liters. But it is based on the engine, that much we know. I'm assuming no variable valve lift. We're gonna go with the best internals, because these cars were really pushed hard. High cam profile, because we're aiming for, what was it, 400-ish kilowatts? 460 to 485, which is like 620 horsepower to 650 horsepower, which is like funny numbers. I don't understand them. Compression ratio of 10 to 1, which is really incredibly low. Why? Why only 10 to 1? This makes no sense. Probably got variable valve timing. I don't know why they wouldn't. I mean, the car came with a factory. Injection has to be multi-point. It can't be direct injection, per cylinder and race. That looks almost identical, except the Volvo one was made of carbon fiber. Then an ultimate rod, even though we should have up to 105 for this one, the E85. Increase that fuel mixture. I suppose that they don't want to have a huge fuel mixture because they want to keep the fuel usage low. So maybe that's where we'll negate some of the fact that this has only a 10 to 1 compression ratio and make this 7,500 RPM. Increase the quality of it because this would be a really high quality. Racing tubular, dual. Not sure what size this will have to be, but we'll figure that out in a minute. And it looks like we're already really close. Though for some reason, yeah, we need to bring the cam profile down quite a bit because this thing really wants to have too much power in the top end. We have so much fuel usage to play with as well. I don't know how to get more power out of this thing. I'm so limited. 372 kilowatts? We are 90 kilowatts. God damn. Yeah, I cannot get the power out of this vehicle that they would get. So that's unfortunate. I suppose I could just have a very peaky power band that just kind of blips and then stops at a high... That's too harsh of a power curve. Unfortunately, it doesn't say how much Newton meters it creates. Well, there's nothing to be done here. I don't want to have too peaky of a power band. I already hate the fact that it just butts the nose up against that. So we'll have to, I suppose, just live with it. Let's give our Volvo powered engine a bit of a listen. Oh, actually, hold on. Let's paint it first. Well, we can't make the trumpets, unfortunately, carbon fiber. I mean, they have them carbon fiber here, but whatever. We'll just move on. What's our octane rating? Our octane rating is so goddamn low. All right, well, let's give it a bit of a listen, shall we? It sounds similar to the actual Volvo one. Would I love to have this engine? Hell yes, I would. But let's see, 448 kilowatts. That's 600 horsepower. So, I mean, it's no slouch. I suppose we could just give ourselves a bit of a lighted car to make up for the power difference. That is so weird. The only thing I can really do here is do that, but we are going with a Polestar body, so we want to keep a vaguely Polestar shape. Something doesn't seem right about the back end. Like, that line there is a little too harsh, but whatever. This is only a mod, so I mean, I can't expect too much from it. I like it. Is that all we can do? We can flare out the guards, but I don't think we need to right this second. Let's go make this thing light. Rear wheel drive, probably a sequential still. I remember them using that for quite a long time. Probably got some sort of geared LSD. I should probably go with something more like an electronic LSD. Radials, semi-slicks, biggins as well. I believe 18 inches was the limitation. Cars use up to 18 inches control wheels, produced by blah, 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 blah. Nothing about the actual tires, only just what the wheels can be. Okay. So it seems that the most recent version of tire sizing rules I could find is from 2017. So we're gonna go with 290s, 675s. So 290s on the rear. And do we go 290s on the front as well? I think it's up to me. Probably carbon fiber wheels, I don't know. Vented discs, you know what, probably carbon ceramics. I do believe that they have at least some decent tech in here. We're going with a fully clad under tray. A little bit of brake airflow, because this is a heavy car still. It's gonna have one seat in it, thank you very much. It's gonna be a sports seat and really high quality. Hydraulic power steering, ABS, obviously I always have ABS. Basic Naught safety, standard spraying, gas monotube, and passive. Actually, you know what, no, these are active, aren't they? Or semi-active. Not entirely sure, but whatever, we'll go with that. And then select race. Now, we don't want to have a super stiff suspension setup. I do find that that becomes a little too bouncy on this game. And I think maybe we will have 290s on the front as well. And then we'll curb this oversteer with lots of downforce. And we're going to put on a buttload of downforce on this baby. Oh, yeah. Why am I doing Taylor? I'm meant to be doing just downforce at this current point in time. So we're going to start off with a bit of a diffuser. Well, a big, massive diffuser. But what sort of style do we go with? On the side profile, you can't really see anything sticking out. Not a whole lot on the style of diffuser. Though you can see here that it's got a big fat lip. I don't really see anything there. It's a very subtle diffuser. So that's what we're going to try to go with. There, we've got a little bit of under tray, a little bit of diffuser on there. We're going to go in and we're going to edit out that little part. And we're going to put a wing on. So what sort of wing does it look like they have? Just a single element wing with big sidewalls. And how does it attach? It looks like the back end comes out on some sort of diffuser and then the wing attaches to the diffuser. Interesting design. Well, let's see if we can try to replicate something like that, which I don't know if we can. I'll give it a try though. Okay, well, I believe that's the rear wings dealt with. Now time to get on to do some big old front downforce. Now, these things don't generate a lot of downforce, so that's probably going to be a little bit tricky. I'm going to try to replicate some sort of Polestar blue here, which that looks pretty darn close, so I'm happy with that. And keep working on this. Though I must admit I've only ever seen this new Polestar kind of look once, so we're not going with exactly that anyway. And I don't want to copy another car 100% either. And I think that's enough detail, right? May put a racing number on there though. There we go. Got our numbering on here, looking pretty flash as well. I was able to get reflective material on here. Luckily they enabled that. And now just to do the back end, which I don't know how to do. Now I know that this isn't actually Volvo Polestar, but it's Polestar, which is basically Volvo anyway. Meh, it'll have to do. Alright, time to move on to do the headlights section. Though, what's our downforce looking like? We may have an issue here, but I suppose we can just go in and do the old wing modification thingy that I had suggested in the past. But let's go ahead and do the front. You know what? I am actually going to look a little bit at the Volvo Polestar, or the Polestar P1. Okay, so it's clearly split into two. You've got the front, which angles in a little bit at the middle, and then here it also angles in a little bit at the middle. So I think we can work something out. Alright, I actually really am digging the look of this thing, though I would love if this was to actually touch. There we go, much better, very good, like it a lot. So we're gonna have to do a little bit of patchwork to fill that in, because I'm not happy with that. There, much better. Now we could stick with Volvo Polestar's thing of no badges, but we are going to put a badge on there. I just wish I knew which Volvo badge I went with on the previous cars. Let's go check it out. What did we do on the previous Volvos? Looks like here we went with the actual badging style, but I don't know if we're going to do that this time around. And this one also went with, here we go. So we've got a V in a box. We'll go with that one. Or maybe we'll just go with something like this. This looks very classy and kind of on brand for what we're creating here. Which is not Volvo. We are not copyright infringing. This is Vlovo, our very own unique brand. Cool. Let's go take this over, except I want to change the color of that. That looks weird. That also doesn't look particularly great, but I suppose I could live with it. Do we go over now? Oh no, we don't have door handles or mirrors. I thought there was something missing. And also an indicator that should go along here. Okay, what does Test Track reckon this thing will do? Now, I know it'll be very different in BeamNG, but we'll give it a try. A 158? You know what? Not horrible. Our weight is severely underweight, though. Ooh, that's a problem. We have to be almost 1.4 tons. We have to make this a little bit heavier. Do we just go with regular monocoque chassis again, then? Let's got us up to 1,200 kilos. Oh, boy. There we go. Partial aluminium. Actually, we're going to knock off 100 kilos for the extra power that we couldn't get. And we still have the majority of the weight over the front, which will help us out. Looks like we're not oversteering anymore. So that's unfortunate, I suppose, because I did want quite an oversteering vehicle. Then I suppose we don't need so much downforce over the rear. But we'll figure that out. Let's just go ahead and export this beast. And here we are in the void. Now I have done the modifications I said I would. So you can see that there's no like a little lip there on the rear here near the diffuser and nothing a little in there, except the fact that there seems to be a little bit of a tidbit here now and a little bit of a tidbit here now, which is, I don't know, unfortunate. I have also put on the wing adjusters, but first we're just going to test this car out. So, at low speeds, oh, okay, it kicks a lot of oversteer, so I'm gonna have to control this thing. I just also realized I forgot to change the wheels. Frick. Oh, well, bad luck. So, yeah, it oversteers quite a bit. Get the feeling maybe I should up the traction of the tires to match actual race slicks, but it'll do, I suppose. Oh, that is a lot of oversteer. All right, let's see what this thing does now at high speed. So now we're going at about 150, which is the sort of speeds we'd expect. And I feel like we're understeering like crazy. Like a huge amount of understeer. And it takes so much to break it loose, but then we get so much oversteer when we're at lower speeds. This was probably going to be a little bit different once we get the steering wheel attached, but this is quite the unruly car. I think we need downforce all around, but especially at the front. Especially since the way in which this wing is designed to lift the front end up, because if I bring up Control T, you can see that the wing here is predominantly over the rear axle. So you're gonna get a lot of leverage and it's gonna lift the front end up. So we're gonna increase the front end downforce quite a chunk. 0.34, that's a lot of extra downforce. Let's go with something like a 0.2 added to the front downforce. You can see here that here's where the wing is, and now it's all the way up here. So now we're gonna have a lot more front wing downforce. And how does this baby handle now? Okay, still getting a lot of understeer. Maybe if I reduce the rear's downforce angle as well, along with that. Down up by 0.05. Hopefully that's done enough. This thing has major traction control problems. Okay. Alright, you know what? Yeah, this is now not horrible. Though we do have problems with still power over, which is not great. Here we go, at about 150. Nope, still understeer. That sucks. Maybe I should have added more downforce at the front. You can see it's even janking out the front wing, but as long as the front wing is still functioning, I am happy with how it goes. Oh god, damn, this thing has way too much power. But yes, I think that will be fixed by using a steering wheel, as opposed to just fuddy-duddying around with the controller to make sure that this vehicle works. But that's why we have these sliders over here, so even when I switch over to a steering wheel, I could just go in here and just fiddle around a little bit. But what we're going to do is we're going to go over here, we're going to select the main file, and we're going to overwrite. So now when I load it up, it'll be with these current settings. Let's go get this ready for Pikes Peak. So here we are at the base of the short track. So let's give this one a bit of a try. We're just going to see how it goes without fiddling with our aerodynamics to start with. Manual control, and that's a lot of wheel spin. Now, this is not the sort of car that you would normally take up Pikes Peak because there is no turbos on here. And that is a big problem. Okay, well, we're gonna see if we want more front downforce in a minute. For now, we're initially going to just see how this car deals with long sweeping corners. If it deals with it quite well, then maybe I was worried for nothing about the, oh god damn it, the front downforce being too low. You give this another try. God damn it. This vehicle just feels unbalanced. But then again, I suppose it is also a heavy boy. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense that it's not a particularly great car. Alright, I think we could probably do with a little bit more rear downforce. Yeah, we've gone up 0.02. Hopefully that'll be good. Oh! Ah! God damn it. This is a really hard car to control. God damn it. Restart. Oh. Well then. So a little bit of voiceover on this initial lap, which I finally got a clean one of. I noticed that the front numbers on the screen were changing colors, but then I realized that that's actually because it's configured as a brake light. So whenever I was braking, the front number was flashing. Anyway, this is the first lap. Woo! 2 minutes 32. This is, like, not a great car, but it's actually quite fun to drive. That puts us ever so slightly behind the Tutor Winger, though. And I don't know if I could live with that. So we're going to see if my skill of driving and skill of making cars has overcome the fact that this is only a rear-wheel drive compared to the Tutor Winger, which I believe was a all-wheel drive and 1,000 horsepower ute. So let's see if we can beat that time, which I should be able to. Let's give it a try. God damn it. Yeah, alright, so it was actually quite tricky to get this said lap done. When you're trying to really push this rear-wheel drive car up a hill like this, it is so difficult. But I did finally get a good lap done. And really, the big thing that you start to notice with this car coming out of any corner, out of any sort of acceleration, it just becomes so difficult. It's like holding a broom up by balancing it on your finger. Trying to push a car forward like this, uphill like this, is so difficult, and it just wants to spin at every single instant. So you have to be very quick and very on. Also, the brakes are not particularly good as well. So you may have noticed there, if you're a keen-eyed viewer that's been around for a while, that braking zone was probably a good 5 meters longer to maybe even 10 meters longer than what I would normally have. And then just nursing it around, going so slow around corners. At least the high-speed stability is fairly decent. All the slow-end acceleration, like here, you're going to see that I'm just going to nurse this through here. In second gear, usually that's a first gear corner, but you have to nurse this car. Every corner is a goddamn nightmare, and you'll see that I don't go into first. I'm in second, and it's still causing me issues, and I'm just having to be so precious. And whilst watching this back and giving you the voiceover for this, I'm noticing that number just flash up, and it's so distracting. And you saw there also, very wibbly wobbly coming out of that corner. It is so hard to control. So straight line, sure, this thing is fast, but you have to brake really early. Your cornering is not particularly great, and then accelerating out of a corner is always going to be fraught with peril. Like, seriously, that was my #1 issue with this car, is getting it out of a corner. God damn. And you see here that I'm braking extra early, and I didn't care. I just needed this thing to be better, and then having to like lift off the accelerator then coming out of the corner, because it is just such a nightmare. As you can see, every corner I have to nurse it out, get it looking really nice and clean, then accelerate. And then on this corner, this one, it just struggles with it. It understeers quite badly on medium speed corners, which is not what you want to see, if I'm being entirely honest, with any car. But this one, it's so much worse, because the car is so horrendous. And here we're coming up to the final hairpin of the game. I'm going to come around here, nurse it through, and oh, look at that, a little bit of oversteer. But I'm so good at being able to control it at this point, having to lift here for that corner, which you only have to do on cars which are too fast with not enough downforce. Oh god. No! Did I make it? Oh, yes, I made it. Oh, and I knocked a sizable amount of time off my time. Yeah. God damn, that was over 5 seconds. Goodness gracious. I didn't realize that the first lap was that bad, but apparently it was. I suppose now we go try the long track. Oh, God. Now we have to go try the long track. This actually just puts us just behind the open wheeler as well, which is very impressive. But let's go ahead, do the long track. This is going to be a nightmare. I'm going to have to nurse this one, because the amount of times that this car just loses control, it's insane. It just keeps doing it over and over again. But don't worry, guys. I've got this under control. Ah! Well, that didn't go to plan. Luckily, though, the lap didn't take many tries, and it was fairly uneventful. I'll just show you the short cliff notes. Whoa, 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 wait. Woo! Oh, too much power. Pushing uphill is so hard. Brakes are hot. Oh, damn it, damn it, damn it. Oh, left. Something's wrong. No! No! I can do this. I can get it back on track. That's the end right there. I know it's the end. Oh, I derped really hard, but we can do this. Even without a front splitter and a rear diffuser, if that comes off. But we can do this. Oh. So much power. So little grip. Ah, we're getting close. Oh no. Come right. Oh my god. Oh my god, that was insane. Oh, I am puckered so hard right now. But let's just get this across the line. Oh, I've lost steering. Oh, 10 minutes. 10 minutes dead on. That's all we did. Fuck this. Oh, no. Oh, right at the end, we had 10 minutes dead flat stuck on. That is just stupid. Oh, my God. So it's not blowing anybody's pants off. It is really hard to control. But it did finish in, what, 4th? Oh, yeah. It finished just behind the Paul Blart car. Oh, wait. Just in front of the Paul Blart cart, which was absolutely terrifying. Every time I say that cart, I'm going to have to mention how terrifying that vehicle was. But also just behind the Suzumabachi commuter. Oh, my God. This has been fun, guys. But goddamn, I need to go change my pants right now. So I'll catch you guys next time. Goodbye.